welcome to another episode of You,
Me,
and the Flea.
Holy
Happy
shoot.
Thursday.
I was gonna say, we're in it. We're in fall, baby.
We're in our favorite September. The first burr month.
The first bird.
But we love it. Let the excitement begin.
Yeah,
I feel
you guys
like,
are just like, just prepare. Because honestly, we like springtime shy, summertime, but fall is really when Kristina and I thrive.
I mean, it's just like pedal to the metal. I feel like after this, it's like
all the holiday
fun
parties start. My birthday, Thanksgiving, your birthday, Christmas, New Year's Eve. It's
Thanksgiving.
Literally, that's what I do. I'm like, it's
literally
back to back.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's weird is like the weird limbo of like, it's still sometimes like 80 degrees and you're just like,
I'm ready for my whole fall fit.
What are we doing? you know?
Yeah.
I really want to wear this leather jacket, but like I can't, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
But isn't that life though, in that limbo?
It is. We're moving, baby, slowly through it.
Anyways, yeah, but another holiday that I feel like we did not celebrate last year, which I always wanted to chat about, is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Woo!
Yeah, which definitely deserves a limelight here, especially in our space.
Definitely.
With all the peeps to recognize. So, full disclaimer, we are not Hispanic or Latino. I know we look it though. I feel like we get it all the time.
All the time. People think
I know.
We are.
They think you're like Puerto Rican or something, Bolivian. I don't even know.
I don't either. Half the time I'm like, what?
Worse is when they speak to us in Spanish and we're just like,
I'm like, I can
Hola.
talk to you. Yeah, you speak Polish to me.
even then I'm like, no, I know. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about all the richness of Hispanic culture. And like I said, don't add us. We're just here doing the research and talking about all the good that is incorporated with our flea market as well in regards to this very special month. This episode will come a few days after actual Mexican Independence Day, which I think is the first thing that I learned when I first started was, I don't know.
It's not Cinco de Mayo.
Did you know it ain't Cinco de Mayo?
It is not Cinco de Mayo.
Although we want it to be, though.
Yeah, but it's just like the real day is in September, baby.
And to be fair, like I feel like all the bars in Chicago have really adapted Cinco as it's like, Cinco. Yeah. It's Cinco weekend. It's like, okay, but what is...
Chicago's just looking for any reason to drink, okay? We will celebrate anything here.
I know. I'm like, well, in March I'm Irish.
Yep.
In April I'm Greek with my with Easter, and then what am I going to do in May? You know what I mean?
Hispanic.
Yeah, I'm Latino.
That's right.
I need a reason to eat tacos and
all the chips and dip and queso.
Man,
salt. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't care what anyone says.
I will never get sick of Mexican food,
Ever.
Hispanic food.
Literally.
Never.
Ever.
I could eat it every day. Like,
I literally just envisioned
like an enchilada in my mouth.
The chips and salsa dropping at my table right now, and me just... I mean, they don't even put it down, and I'm immediately like crunching.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So, first and foremost, what is Hispanic Heritage Month? Hispanic Heritage Month actually started on September 15th and goes until October 15th.
Very interesting.
And then, like we said, the actual Mexican Independence Day is September 16th. So a lot of people, I think, are thrown off and have this like misconception because the Independence Day is in September, that September is like the Heritage Month, but it's actually middle of September to middle of October.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting time too, because obviously when these holidays fall kind of in the mid-month, everyone is like, why or whatever, but obviously it's because the 16th is, their Independence Day, but then I think there's another holiday that corresponds in there somewhere too. So kind of incorporating both of those. But, I think what it is too is also a time to just kind of honor a culture, honor, the people that have defined that culture. I think there's still like negative stigmas that we're getting over with the Latino community still, which sucks, but hopefully something like this will break that barrier too. But anyway, this is supposed to be light and heartfelt.
Yeah, geez.
I know, but
Don't get emotional over here.
And when we're talking about Hispanic heritage, we're particularly like Spain, Mexico, Central
Caribbean.
America, the Caribbean, and Central America too.
So if you fall under that category, we are celebrating you.
Always, and we're celebrating everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
It's so interesting too because at the flea market, there's so many people from Venezuela, from Peru, from Panama, those are all in the Latin American community too, and so it's very interesting too because they're not all the same.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because when people would get upset if you're like, oh, you're American, and it's like, well, not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just get categorized
like
in this
stereotype,
bucket. Yeah. So it really is different in each culture. So, anyways,
let's dive
number
in.
2.
Okay, number 2 is traditional Hispanic crafts. So this is going to be, right now off the top of my head, we're looking at this picture. If you're not watching right now, we're looking at a picture of basically like wood that is, I don't want to say sculpted, but it's like chiseled.
Yeah.
And made into, these look like people.
Yeah.
But all sorts
Almost
of different things.
Yeah. Look, I feel like if you go to SwapORama or any flea market in general that has, Hispanic vendors, you're going to see these things.
Everything.
You're going to see the Mexican bold blankets. You're going to see handcrafted things like shoes that are almost look like kind of like the Toms, but, they're like very much so crafted.
There's all sorts. The candles that have like Virgin Mary and Jesus and who else is there?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
But in particularly like with their, like in this particular case, when you're talking about like traditional Hispanic crafts, we're talking about pottery and the woven skills that these people have, and how that's celebrated and kind of overlooked sometimes because, we're now a society in the U.S. that is very much like fast fashion. Like we don't really take the time to like craft these things anymore. You're just buying, glasses from Amazon. And it's so cool when you go to the flea market and see some of these like really cool like mugs that they've like handmade and they're not perfect. And
I know, I love it. You can tell that it's like authentic, official.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I personally love like a Southwest vibe, like that Aztec look.
So
and
good. The turquoise with like the
terracotta color and like all of that is like my jam personally. So I love when I see these, and then of course like the intricate detail of like the painting and like just people taking the time to do that, similarly to like, I don't know if you've heard of like Pura Vida, the like bracelets and like in Guatemala, all the like people that hand make all of this jewelry that's so beautiful, is very, very cool.
I agree.
So.
And all of the bright colors.
Yes.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I'm just thinking of like these bracelets we bought.
I know. Yeah.
Like everything has like a pop of color. It's very bold. You have like your pinks, your blues. I'm sorry, but if you see like a red, a green, a pink, a blue mixed together,
I know.
I feel like it's Hispanic of some sort or like ties to it.
Absolutely.
They're beautiful.
Love it. The colors that you never thought would
work
mix
together.
Mix.
Yeah. And because they're all so bold.
Yeah.
Number 3 is going to be art and decor.
Yeah, so the art and decor space in Hispanic culture, I think, to piggyback off of what we were just saying, it speaks to like who they are, right? So it is bold, it's vibrant, it's colorful, it's not boring, similar to like their music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like very fun,
like,
lively.
yeah,
like
it's just
think
reflects
mariachi,
that.
think like big, bold. I don't know.
Everything.
I just think about like walking out of the airport in like Cancun. I vividly remember this, and they're all just playing, and like the drinks are ready and happy, and music's going, and everyone's smiling, and people are dancing, and I'm like,
oh my gosh,
this
can
is
we
a
go
vibe.
really quick?
This is
Like,
a
what's
vibe.
going?
This is a vibe to walk into.
No, it seriously is, and it's like
everyone's got the sombreros on.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, your hips immediately start moving. You're
Yeah.
like, what's going on? You're bopping your head. Like, it's just, it really like oozes that, and especially in their art too. Like when we every time we go to the flea, like, I don't know, it'll be like the most basic photo.
Yeah.
I'm immediately thinking of like The Godfather, and they'll like put a mustache on him and make him like way more fun, and I'm like, wait, that's so cool.
I know exactly. I'm thinking
Right?
We're thinking of the same booth.
When they take like basic artwork or like, you know, still shots, and then just like
make it like more like a Hispanic
Latino.
twist. Yeah. I like
make
that.
it fun.
Because those are like one of a kind pieces. Like you're not gonna really like go. I mean, you might, but like you're not gonna go to like Pier 1 or Home Goods and just like find something like that.
You will absolutely
like,
not find
it's so different.
And as you mentioned too, religious art. I think that's in itself.
I feel like that's a big thing.
Huge.
I mean, you can represent, wear, place, display Jesus, the Virgin Mary, the saints, like all of that. I do think it's done really well. I mean, if you have no idea what the hell you're looking for and you go to the flea market, you might be like, well, what is all this?
Yeah.
But you know, it's their culture and they're proud of it. And the things that they sell are beautiful, whether it's like a Virgin Mary candle or an actual like figurine.
Yeah.
Everything is done really well. And I even think with like those, like even like the Jesus, like he's wearing bright colors, like it's a vibe.
Yeah, I immediately was going to say that. It's one of those things where obviously religion can make people feel uncomfortable, especially if that's something that you're not versed in or, you know, it's not something that you believe in. And it really does hit you in the face when you go to the place.
Oh, yeah. You're like, whoa.
There are some booths that are just religious replicas, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you've never seen Jesus, you're going to see Jesus.
You're going to see him.
Yeah, and instead of making you feel uncomfortable, it does kind of give you this kind of wow factor, as you mentioned, where I obviously come from, you know, a Greek Orthodox Christian background. So I'm very much so very similar things.
Familiar.
Very familiar and similar to Catholicism, which they typically believe in, not all, but most.
I would say the same thing. I'm Polish. I also come from a Catholic family, Roman Catholic. I do think it's this, I don't want to say the same, but the stuff that we see at the flea market is the same stuff that like my grandma used to take me to these like holy stores. It's literally the same thing.
Right. But yeah, just how they, you know, the statues of the saints and all of that stuff. And it's a big part of their culture. So it's undeniable that you're going to see it there. And then, I don't know, I just love that they still have kind of like that peace and like that that aspect of, you know, that's not something that they're going to get rid of. You know what I mean? Respectfully.
Agreed.
That's
I think
the other
it's
thing
like
too.
An aura,
yeah. Like
energy,
it's not
like,
no one's like shoving it down your throat by any means. It's just one of those things where you're going to see a booth of it and it's beautiful.
You can do what you want with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, if it bothers you, keep walking to the next one.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
No, love that. And then another interesting thing in regards to like art and decor, which when I also saw at the flea market, I was like, why is that hanging up? Is those almost like the crepe paper, like,
yeah.
What is that? What is that called?
Crepe paper?
Well, it's like a banner, like a streamer kind of banner thing.
That's like a big thing. It's like that I was reading about is like their cloth panels and then like a lot of their like paper accessories and decor. Like whether it's like those hanging things or the tablecloths, everything is like very, I don't want to say over the top, but you're not just throwing like a white tablecloth down.
No.
Or some white streamers.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's papel picado.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Oh, okay.
That's literally most traditional decorations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So I think those, also what I read was kind of like, it was started in like the Day of the Dead or like the kids will like cut the shapes and stuff like that, which I think is so freaking cool.
Which I also remember doing this in school.
I mean, really?
Yeah. I remember in elementary school, we would like cut paper and then my teacher had them all hanging on the ceiling.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember the banners. I remember my Spanish teacher would have the banners up. The stream, whatever you call it, the banners up. But we always went all out for the Day of the Dead, where we would like, you know, decorate a skeleton face and stuff like that. And
Yep.
I love when girls do that for Halloween. I think it's so freaking
It
cool.
is. Like the whole face painted.
Oh, the whole face. I'm like, can anyone do that on me?
Yeah.
Please. All right, our next talking point here is fashion finds. All right, look. This is also a vibe. So I'm particularly talking about things that we see at the flea. So lots of Western gear.
Yep.
I mean,
Tunics.
hit us with what male things you can find.
Seen a lot of like the loose fitting like tunics that like are a lot by like worn by women that are like a little bit longer. Maybe it's like more of like a thinner mesh material, not mesh, but like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's
definitely
not thick.
hand woven.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
where it's like, it's not like perfectly put together. Big belt buckles.
Yep.
That's one thing I like
Colorful
always freaking
shawls,
see.
boots, sandals for days. I
The
mean,
boots, though. A minute for the boots.
the boots are, if you
Man.
need a pair of cowboy boots, Western boots, any
Dude.
type of like boot that is outdoor, indoor, a heeled male boot, like there is so many options. You want pink boots.
I mean, aside from that, let's talk the texture. You have some that are like crocodile,
Yep.
snake skin.
You also have
Like, and
vendors
we're
who
not
are-
talking,
No.
we're not talking like $50-$60 boots here. We're talking $400-$500
Yeah, they're
boots. Like,
pricey.
these are, someone took a hammer to those.
Someone went to Florida, grabbed a croc, came back, and just went to town.
Probably, dude.
Yes.
I'm not joking. Yeah, there's, I mean, really cool stuff. And like you said, again, just bold and vibrant.
Yeah.
Is the theme, the occurring theme. What about for women's too? How about like a lot of the dresses that have like ruffles on
Yep.
them, or
Like it almost looks like you're like that emoji with like the salsa dancer.
Yes.
Yeah, like ruffles, layers,
Yeah.
like the longer. I think still it's like bright colors. You're gonna have like the sombreros, all those type of hats.
Of course.
Yep.
And we're not talking about like their basic fashion. Obviously, these are humans that wear Lululemon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or, yoga pants
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
But some of their like historical, cultural driven attire is what we're talking about specifically, which is really freaking cool. And you can get all of those authentic pieces, as we've mentioned, like, from wallets to
Everything.
purses,
hand
to
woven bags, shirts, shoes. I mean, I've even seen like
jewelry.
the sandals.
Dare we
with,
even
like,
go into jewelry too?
that's what, like the bright beads, the gold.
Turquoise is also, I read,
Yep.
a very big thing in the Hispanic culture, which I didn't realize.
I didn't know that
but then
either.
I was like, well, it kind of
Kinda
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Jinx.
Think about all those vendors and booths that we go to that have like the Western wear with the turquoise.
Well, even when I go to Arizona, like in Old Town Scottsdale, it's all little stores that have
I know exactly what you're talking about.
right? It's
Yep.
like the turquoise kind of turquoise and silver jewelry and stuff. And I actually, when I was like reading that, I'm like, wait, now that makes sense too, because they're close to the border in Mexico there, and California, which is heavily dominantly Hispanic too. So I'm like, wow, I'm putting two and two together here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
this all makes sense.
But the jewelry too, that was also a culture thing for me, because I'm very like, I'm blinged out when I wear jewelry, but I'm very plain when it comes to, like, if I'm wearing big, bold jewelry, I'm typically wearing like a plain outfit. That's just me though. But it was a culture, I don't want to say a culture shock, but like when you go into the flea and you see kind of these like humongous pendants that they wear.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, dang, dude.
Like,
It's like a gold crest on some.
it makes your style look dainty and little.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So things can get really bold really quick over there.
Yeah. A lot of good options.
All right, what's our next talking point?
Next talking point is going to be music and instruments. So instantly in my head, I'm thinking a mariachi band. I'm thinking your maracas. I'm thinking like, so do you know the guitar actually is known as like the Spanish guitar? And
Now I do.
a craft that they do for children is actually make these paper guitars.
Okay.
And
super cool.
Yeah, so I just think of like instantly like that's like when I'm like instantly in my head thinking that vibe, like loud.
Oh my God.
We're dancing, we're laughing. It's like, you know.
Listen, I feel like since I've started working here, a love language is dance and music.
Totally.
100%. I mean, that is how they speak to each other. Like when I say
like,
they, I mean the whole
affection.
culture. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like just so,
like, come dance with
it's
me.
like any emotion, they like dance it off or sing it off or whatever. And I'm a big Dancing with the Stars girly. So I love like all styles of Latin music, like salsa, bachata, reggaeton, like, my God, I'm sure there's even way more than I can think of right now. Argentine tango and like all of these like just beautiful dances that they speak their emotions through their bodies is so freaking cool. And as you mentioned, like the music aspect, don't get me started. I feel like ever since I can remember being a kid, like, were you around? Well, Selena died shortly after I was a kid when Selena passed.
I don't really remember her. I was younger because I think I'm a few years younger than you.
I think it was like 95-ish or something that she passed. So I was little as well. But I feel like that in those like late 90s when it was like Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias,
oh my God,
Shakira, J-Lo, all these people kind of breaking in. Gloria Estefan. I mean, there's so many others that I'm missing.
Like breaking the ground for like what is
and
to
kind
come.
of and kind of introducing it to everybody. I was like, wait, I love this. It's so good. Same thing, and all of it was just so lively and made you feel so good. And then don't even get me started like later in time with like Despacito and like some of these bangers that are truly like,
think Bad Bunny
worldwide.
Hello.
Oh my God.
How do we,
exactly.
like,
Bad Bunny,
that
Maluma,
has, like,
Ozuna,
changed the entire
Peso Pluma, all these like
all of
big
them.
players now. Carol G. It's insane, and rightfully so. Like, these are very talented musicians and like people that again like speak so well to this community. It translates really well. I love it.
I mean, love that people can like communicate through like song and dance. I think it's like so cool. Personally, really cool. I need to take a note and start communicating that way because via text and talking ain't working.
I know. Side note, I used to have a friend that would always like how she was feeling. She would send us like a YouTube link to like a song, so we like always kind of knew if she was like sad or happy or whatever. Like that. I know, isn't it funny? Or like when she would date like guys and she didn't know how to say like I'm into you or something, like she would literally like send you a link to like a song she was feeling. Very, very weird side note there. But anyways.
Interesting.
Okay, the accordion too is also a big instrument. Which is also
big for the Poles. That's what I mean. It's
the Poles is short for Polacks.
Correct. our friendly Polish folks. No, but that accordion is big in our culture too. So that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of like similarities
a lot of crossovers too.
Totally.
Yeah. Dude, and we love that about it. I think it being so diverse and like, again, just kind of intermingling all these things. Like at the end of the day, we're all people and
right? We're all living in the same world.
Seriously.
You might as well make the best of your neighbor and love on them because you never know who's going to be your manager one day.
Amen.
Right, next, we're going to do culinary delights. Okay,
Dude.
this, like, I hate to say, like, the Mexican bread, because I know it's something, like, there's a name. But, well, let me tell you, there's been multiple times where we have been stopped at the market, and really at 10 a.m., I don't really necessarily need, like, a thick slice of pound cake or coffee cake, but let me tell you, too good. Like, you can't even compare. It's like, oh man, we've had so many cookies, the bread, the buns,
I know, it's like
pastries. Like the empanada. I mean, you want me to
should we keep going? No, it's like, and again, if you don't know these things, you're gonna look at it and be like, why is there like a crusty red sugar coating on that? Something. But let me tell you, that is fire.
You want the crust.
They're like, you dip that in a little coffee? And I'm
Yep.
like, say less.
I got you.
All of those things like the breads, but even like
The candies.
no, tres leche, like cake,
Yeah.
or like dulce de leche and stuff. Like there's so flan, churros. Like there's so many things that have contributed and now are like staples in even what we eat.
Like American
what I mean?
culture, yeah.
Totally. But you will get a lot of those kind of like authentic old school like breads, and like Rachel said, like it almost looks like kind of like a pineapple upside down cake sometimes.
Yes.
Or like like
there's a little bit of like gooey on top,
Right.
and a cherry, and you're like, what is this? But
Yeah.
let me tell you, just buy it, take a
or
bite.
like the cinnamon pecan ones, and they're almost like sweet rolls made into like cakes, and then you could buy them. But even like plain breads and rolls and all of those things, and again, crafted so beautifully by these people. Like you can definitely tell there's like some TLC.
Oh yeah, it's
added
just like
ingredient
they're
love.
passionate. Like
Yeah.
this is all they want to do. They know what they're doing. They know where to get the best stuff. I will say too, nobody freak out. I get along with most cultures, most religions, most people. However, there's just like something very welcoming and friendly to me about like the Hispanic culture and people.
Yeah.
Like think about all the times that we have gone shopping and we're walking through the market, and they are just like, they're always trying to like love on us and show us what
they're like organic hosts. They're just naturally
Completely.
like whatever. They want you to learn.
You feel very
about stuff.
comfortable around them. They don't,
for sure.
they teach you without making you feel dumb in a way.
Well, the next thing, like on this point of culinary foods and things, I'll never forget when it was like one of the second or third time that I brought you to the flea, and we were recording, and you're like, "What is that?" And it was those big bowls of mole.
Yes.
And you're like, what is that? And to the naked eye, I will say it does look like, you know what? Okay.
it doesn't look appealing.
It doesn't look pleasant. But these were like in these beautiful like ceramic and I'm like, oh, that's mole. And you're like, what do you do with that? I'm like, you've never had an enchilada with like the sauce? And you're like, those are my favorite. And I'm like, well, that's what that is. It's a sauce. You mix it with water, whatever. And that's the other beautiful thing too. Like to your point, there are so many times where we're like, is that a dried pepper? And they're like, oh yeah, if you put that in soup and
blend
like,
it.
and they just explain to you how to incorporate that into your cooking or whatever, or how to bring something to life, or like what habanero mix is on the dried mango or something. Like, man, they want you to try it. They want to explain it to you.
They want you to love it, and they want you to tell everyone about it.
Yeah, and so it's like super, super cool and all of that stuff too. And I've learned so much along the way in terms of all of that. Like
oh my
the mole
God, me
stuff
too.
and-
Now since like, I've been working with Kristina for 2 years. Wow. Like so much I had no idea about.
And obviously like the Mexican candy, that's another big one that you'll see at the flea.
Fire. Absolute fire.
I mean, on TikTok, all of those like trendy candies are popping off right now. Let's bring some of the Mexican ones into play, because they're so good. Like, even just looking at them, the packaging
I know.
and
I'm
stuff,
thinking about
I'm
that
like,
one with like the tri-dip. It's like Neapolitan. Like you get the chocolate.
yes,
you know what I
yes,
mean?
yes.
We've talked
It was
about
almost
this on
like
an
a
episode.
spread.
Yes.
But any of them too, they have like such good like gummy bears and like.
I'm thinking about those fruity
Literally,
tooties.
I could tell you more about it, but every time Rachel and I go, we're like, nope, stay forward, look forward, look forward, look forward.
Keep going, keep going, keep
No
going.
candy today, but man,
There's a
I love
lot.
it too. It's a beautiful, like, and they display it so beautifully and so
the
nice.
displays
like,
are so pretty. And then pinatas are big. If you are looking to
Great
stuff
point.
a pinata, that would be, I think that would take it to the next level. Buying
sure.
like all those Mexican candies and
sure.
Hispanic like sweet treats from the market. Like that's not stuff you see every day.
Yeah.
I was looking at the stuff, like I was like, oh my God, like I've never seen this. I've never seen that. I've never even heard of this. I'm going to be 33 years old. Like I've been around for a minute, like, and I have no idea what this stuff is.
I know.
So
Hey, we're learning every day.
we are.
All right, final thing.
Okay, and then finally we have supporting Hispanic vendors. So I think this is like so important. I know
Right.
Kristina will agree with me. There is a lot of talent There is a lot that they offer, whether it is like products or services. I mean, I'm just thinking about some of the things I have bought in the last year from Hispanic vendors, and I'm wearing some of them right now. I mean, I get so many compliments on my bracelets, just all sorts of different things. You know, I think everyone should go out there and support them, just like any other small business.
Oh, 100%. I think off the top of my head, you know, my dad owned a restaurant growing up. I worked in several restaurants. Oh, I'm just going to say, I mean, off the top, I've never seen such harder workers in my life.
I
the
agree.
Hispanic community, like they will, you know, similarly to what we said about them embracing you and wanting to teach you and, you know, fully wanting you to take in who they are and everything that they are. I think with that being said, too, they work really hard in general for their families, for, you know, for their own futures. And, you know, whether they're new to the U.S. or not, or second generation or whatever, there really is that passion of who they are and to, you know, feel more accepted. Yeah.
Be
a sense
proud
of pride.
Of who they are.
Of course. Again, going back to what I used to do too, I used to work for a Hispanic executive magazine, and seeing, you know, the rise of people in kind of even boardroom seats and moving on is such a beautiful thing to see and celebrate, honestly. But when it comes to like the vendors, some of these people, this is their second or third job. Some of these people are putting, you know, their kids through college off of just selling produce.
Correct.
You know, so for somebody who's never been there before and just kind of walking through, you might not bat an eye and could care less. But truly, again, these people are some of the best people. With, like we mentioned, some of the best quality things, whether they're getting them imported from Mexico, whether they're making their breads at, you know, their shop down the road and then bringing it to the swap. I mean, there's just so many stories and so many cases, and it's awesome, you know. And the thing that sucks is, I think too, lately with, you know, this kind of whole quote migrant issue and things like that, it's putting some of these people in a negative light, and it's not everybody.
I agree.
And it just kind of like bums me out that, you know, now there's just this weird persona about people, and it's not true, you know.
There's like still that like stigma.
Yeah. It's
Stereotype.
annoying.
It is annoying. It's like
It
we're
is,
about
'cause
to be
it's
in
like, come on.
2025.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So anyways, I would encourage everyone to check out the stuff, embrace the culture. I think that's what makes the flea. You know what I mean? Just
everyone
how
is
fun it
coming
is
together.
and how exciting it is. And just sitting there, I mean, Rachel and I can tell you so many conversations we've had with people. It's just so beautiful to like connect, you know, and at the end of the day.
And to be honest, half the time me and Kristina we can't fluently speak.
No.
And they still are just so, like, it's some of the best conversations I've had.
Literally. Yeah.
And
Sometimes
I've learned
it could just
so
be staring
much
at someone.
from like a 5-minute conversation with some of these vendors.
Right.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah. Anyways, well, that's it.
All right.
Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody.
Let's go.
Celebrate it. Do something.
Yes, do something. If you haven't been to Swap, please come to Swap and support every one of our Hispanic vendors as well.
Yeah, well, before we end, let's end on a fun note here. We got a Hispanic Heritage this or that.
Hit me. Oh, boy.
All right.
I already know it's
Tacos or empanadas?
tacos.
I do love a good empanada, but I could eat a taco seriously every single day.
I want Mexican
Like, I'm
food
sorry.
sounds so good.
Fire right now.
So good.
Anyways, what are we doing?
I know.
Okay. All right. Salsa or bachata in terms of dancing?
I don't know. I kind of like
So
the
salsa is like more about foot movement. Bachata is like that slower hip
I'm gonna
action.
go salsa.
Really?
Yeah.
You like the articulation?
I
Okay.
do.
It's very, very
I also
fiery.
feel like it'd be something I could learn because of like when I used to be in gymnastics and like pom-pom and stuff, like, you know, for pom especially, like the floor work and like, okay, numbers, counting and moving. I feel like
see
I
you.
could,
Yeah, I feel you on
know?
that. A lot of people have a hard time moving their body in like
For me, I know
fluid
right
ways.
now I can't, like we've talked about working out before. I can't move like the top half of me and the bottom and like
synchronize.
no. Like boxing, that was like the hardest part for me in the beginning.
Really?
Was like my arms would be loose, but
coordination.
I would be like, my feet were glued to the ground. They're like, you're gonna get punched in the face, and you gotta like step, you gotta move. But like,
Interesting.
yeah. So I'm
Interesting.
gonna go salsa. What about
Okay.
you?
I don't know, man. I like bachata.
Okay.
I like
could
the
see
feeling.
that
You know
one.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that I'd be good. All right. Do we like piñatas or papel picado, which is the cup banners?
I don't know. I like
know,
the banners,
dude.
but a pinata is my forever favorite.
Forever since I
I'm
was a
gonna go
kid.
pinata. Like when
Same.
people, like when you would hear kids have a pinata at their upcoming birthday
forget
party, I'm
about
like,
it.
I'm coming.
Forget about it. I think I mentioned before we did for a 40th birthday party. We did an
Love.
adult piñata and we filled it with little shooters, and it was say less.
Love that.
Okay, what do we think about tamales or arepas? And arepas, I know from Venezuelan culture, Colombia, they're like, it's more like a little, kind of looks like a round disc, if you will, and it's like corn, but it's still like stuffed. They're pretty fire.
Tamale.
I do like a tamale
Me too.
Man, also, side note for anyone who makes tamales, man. What?
Also, I'm just thinking about all those like
Something we
corn
didn't bring up.
husks and
Oh,
everything.
yeah,
that are
dude,
at
that's what I'm
that are
saying.
flea that you could buy like 200
True.
of them.
I was also going to say the process of making that stuff.
It's not easy.
It's like pierogies.
It's like
Yep.
it's anything, like any type of like ravioli, pierogi.
a classic.
It's like you're making the stuffing, and then you got to
Yeah.
get the shell together or the dough, and then you're putting it together. It's not quick.
No, seriously.
So that's why when I hear about some of these like bakeries that are, you know, like Mexican bakeries that are up at like 2-3 in the morning, I get it.
It's insane.
You have to. There's like, by the
No,
time
the
you
tamale-
open, you've already been. Oh, I know that
the
takes
tamale
forever.
is the best because it's like, you know, the assembly line where they have like, it's crazy. I love to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, mariachi band, or have you ever seen a flamenco guitar? Flamenco.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
I
about.
like
I'm
those.
going for mariachi band.
Me too.
I don't know. It's so like fun and welcoming to me. Like I feel like if I see one, I'm in a party mood. Like give me a shot.
Even if they're
let's
singing,
go.
they're like sad, depressing ones
It's
with like,
still,
you
like,
know,
energy.
the outfits.
I know.
It's a vibe.
Everything.
Okay, do we like mole sauce or chimichurri?
Ooh, oh, chimichurri
I
is
know,
so good.
I know.
Okay, I would typically just right away say chimichurri, but because I recently have had mole, like I'm thinking Pilsen Yards mole, those enchiladas.
Those were good.
Those were one of my top 3. I'm
I
gonna
don't
go
know.
chimichurri though.
I'm going chimichurri too. It's just fresh.
Yeah, you
It's
can
a
put
lot
it
more
on so
fresh.
much.
Okay, churros or flan?
Churros.
I love churros.
Every day I could eat one.
Tequila or mezcal?
Tequila.
Same. I'm not a smoky gal.
It's too smoky
It
for
is
me.
too
yeah.
smoky for me. Okay, do we like guac or salsa verde?
Guac. I can't turn that
too.
down ever.
I know, who could?
Better yet, if they come and do it for you at tableside.
Oh,
My mouth is watering right now.
let's just put it this way. I've never met a guac I don't like, to be honest with
Ooh,
you.
me either.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm like, oh, this one has a lot of lemon. I like it. Oh, this one has a lot of tomato. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Anyways, tres leche or dulce de leche? Dulce de leche is like the caramel.
Ooh, Trace Leche is so good.
It's so good, dude.
I'm gonna go that one.
Okay,
I'm
me
going
too.
Trace, baby.
Fajitas or enchiladas?
Enchiladas all
Really?
day. All
Yeah.
day. I could eat enchiladas like tacos, like all the time.
I could too, I guess, but
And I like to
the
switch
cheesiness.
it up.
It's the cheesiness
Yeah.
of the like enchilada,
Yeah.
but a good fajita
It is delicious.
man,
Yep.
coming out sizzling.
Yep. You can smell it too, right? Is it like
Top it yourself.
yeah, like
Come on.
do whatever you want to it.
All right. What about horchata or aguas frescas, which we both have at the Flea?
Yeah.
Agua frescas is like the flavored water.
Yeah.
I like horchata, to be
Me
fair,
too.
so I'm
but
going that.
I'm gonna go flavored water.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah.
There's a watermelon one at Swap.
see, that's what
It's
I'm talking
so fire. It's so refreshing. It's sweet, but it's good. Okay, lucha libre or flamenco dancing? Lucha libre is fun.
It is.
Flamenco's cool as hell though too. Like if you get a good dancer,
I'm gonna
it's
go.
good.
I'm gonna go that.
Really?
I don't know. Lucha Libre is cool, but I think it's like once. I don't need to see it again.
really?
Do you?
Okay. I mean, if you have good wrestlers, I think it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
if they're
yeah,
like
for sure.
good acting and whatever, I think it's
Yeah.
really fun. Okay, last one. Margarita or mojito?
Margarita. Spicy with a tahini rim,
Give me
baby.
14.
We'll take them right now. And JJ, where you at?
And we'll be back next week. No, but really, thanks so much for listening, everybody. And if there's anything you can do to support the community this month, do that, or support them any way we can.
Agreed.
Or come to the flea and walk around and learn something new. You know? That's it.
As
That's
always, if you guys like this episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe. Yeah, thanks for listening to another episode of You,
Me,
and the Flea.
See you next
See you
week.
next week.